chat filter on all messages. For some reason, YouTube wants to default it to hide whatever freaking arbitrary messages their algorithms don't want people to see. And then even when you put all messages, they don't give you all messages. Shoot, I'm starting to get some notifications. Oh well, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, it's starting to get a little warm in here. Man, it is a warm day today, actually. It's 28 degrees Fahrenheit, like -2 or so Celsius. I think that's about what it is for all of my international guests. I dated a woman from Africa. We were betrothed for 8 years. And as the immigration reforms took place, she was no longer able to come here legally. And it was a very bitter reality that we had to face, that she can't be my wife. But a lot of people don't know. Automat Tech, what's going on, dude? Welcome back. Yeah, I was just starting to talk about immigration. Some of the things a lot of people don't know. This whole ICE thing it's an operation. It really is an intelligence operation to keep people divided, because that's kind of what they like to do, is keep people divided between the red and the blue teams. But it's multi-levels on both sides, the things that they're accomplishing through these events and through these operations. But I've been paying attention to what's going on in the world pretty intently since about 2005, long before the internet became censored. And I knew, according to the prophecies, they're going to restrict travel, and they're going to restrict a person's ability to buy or sell. You won't be able to buy or sell without one of 3 forms of ID. And seeing how everything's moving into the digital age back in early 2000s, I knew pretty much the direction things were going. But in regards to immigration, which is a whole nother bang shaboodle, real quick though, I want to talk about this. I got to take a break, but on my channel, I got a video that's been uploaded for almost a year with hardly any views, and all of a sudden, 2.5 days ago, it went into the mainstream feed, and I've got like 130,000 views on this thing. And that's not like my channel, dude. I don't get hundreds of thousands of views. I don't even get tens of thousands of views. All of a sudden, I got 130,000 views on this. But I'm going to be back. I've got to go in and get something mailed off the post office here. And so, like Arnold Schwarzenegger says, I'll be back. I wonder if I should pause. Yeah, I'll leave it. I'll leave it running. Hey, if somebody comes in chat, and let them know I'm coming back. I'm back. Oh, there's some people popped in. Hey, what's going on? Autotech Mike, thanks for letting them know, man. Oh, let's see. Nam, Mayoho, Renji, KO. Yeah, sure. What's going on, Money 7687? I'm back. Like, yeah, why not Joseph Wambura? Why not Joseph Wambura? Um, Yada, 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 Roblox. Okay. So I'm back. It looks like there's not a lot of people in here, but that's cool. So I had this video. I don't know why or how, but it just got into the mainstream. I have my suspicions. But it blew up to 130,000 likes. I mean, views. It's probably over that right now. The YouTube Studio app gives me real-time views where what shows up on the YouTube channel isn't accurate as far as how many views they got. But I was in YouTube prison for, they call it misinformation prison, for medical misinformation. Just sharing things that I've observed with my own eyes and testified of what I've seen with my own eyes. YouTube says it's misinformation. Okay, YouTube. But they put me in a prison. And I was doing live streams and not one person would come in. Like, I would be on live at one time up to 45 minutes. Not one person came in. And no chats, no nothing. And then all of a sudden, after my 3-month prison sentence that YouTube gave me, I go live and I got 4,300 views, I think, on one live. But it was kind of funny because there's only 4 or 5 people that were chatting. So how do you get 4,000 some odd views with only 4 or 5 people chatting? Come on now. That sounds like they're fudging the numbers. And then right after that, YouTube sends me an email saying, hey, look, your video got all these views. Why don't you promote it? Here's a link where you can send us money so you can promote it. And I'm like, so they give you fake. I already know YouTube fucks with the numbers. You know, that was proven back when they used to have the thumbs up count and the thumbs down count. You would see videos that had like tens of thousands of thumbs down one day, and then all of a sudden the next day there'd be like only 1,000 or 900. You know, you'd see likes that were way up, and then all of a sudden the next day they go way down. So they were kind of tweaking their algorithms to fuck with people, to control people is what it is. To keep people on their platform fighting to get that golden play button, which is not my goal. My goal is to reach out and engage with people. Share things that I've learned. That's my goal. Exactly. Okay, hope you're... Hey, what's going on? I gotta grab. Trying not to give it away. What I'm doing, where I'm at. I gotta see who's in here, man. We got Fiona. Welcome, Fiona. I'll take Mike. Yeah. I came into your live stream last night and you were just like, as soon as I got in, boop, you were gone, so you didn't even see me. But anyway, welcome back. So YouTube has this thing where they really want people to put out a lot of content. It's the content platform basically, and try to so they put the carrot on the string and they get you to try to get the monetization. That's not my goal. If I got monetized, I might do it, but I'm not sure yet. But that's not my goal. My goal is to reach people. And if in any way the things that I'm able to share with people are a blessing and it helps a lot of people and they end up getting that big, that's fine. But I'm not gonna to push out content, to do all the editing and all this. I've got a few videos here and there that I put out through the years to help people, but that's not my goal. Is not monetization, and I'm not going to be a slave for the YouTube plantation, which is what it is. They literally have people working their butts off, and then they got that carrot on the string and they keep moving it further and further away and raising the bar higher and higher and higher. I watch, you know, if anybody's been on YouTube for more than 15 years, you've seen how many times they've changed what it takes to become monetized. But I see that, you know, people think you got to get that 1,000 subscribers, or if you got shorts views, you have to have 10 million views in 90 days. 10 million views in 90 days of shorts views, or 4,000 validated watch hours in a year's time. You know, which is the more than likely way that somebody's going to get monetized is by getting 4,000 watch hours. And that's not my deal. That's not what I'm looking for. You won't ever see me say, please hit that like, please subscribe. If you like me, if you like what you hear, if, you know, you're whatever, then go ahead and do that. If you don't, then don't. That's not my deal. But anyway, back to the thing. I got to get back to the thing about how YouTube is just keeping people on this. It's almost like a hamster wheel, just trying to get them to work and work and work and work and work for free. And then when they finally get monetized, they don't make jack. You know, you got to get like 1,000 views to make $1.50 or $1.20, you know, or something. And then, of course, you know, you got to pay the government. And then you've got all your time invested. And that's the thing, when you figure out the hourly wage, you're literally, you're a slave. You're a slave to YouTube, unless something happens, which I think the algorithms are powered by spirits. That's a guess. But I do know that spirits are observed through electromagnetic frequency detection. We all have a spirit in us that can be observed, and when a person dies, that electromagnetic spirit dissipates. And it doesn't dissipate, it rises. It doesn't go away. I mean, it doesn't dissipate. It literally stays in its form, and it rises through the ceiling when a person dies. They found that out, I don't know, close to 20 years ago in a hospice care center when they wanted to find out what happens to the electromagnetic current in the body. But anyway, you know, everything with the frequencies and electromagnetic radiation, and I just have a very strong suspicion that they're tapping into the spiritual realm with the technologies that they're using with algorithms. I could be wrong. It's an educated guess. It's not an ignorant guess. And it's not grasping as some kind of superstition. It's actually things that are observational. You know, there's a lot more to that, but I'm going to get off of that rabbit trail because that's a whole long story of how I got to that point, which I'd love to share sometime, but I am limited on time. Fiona is from, it's Africa. I believe it is, it's one of those countries. It's at the tip of my tongue. Don't tell me. I'm going to try to remember it. I can picture it on the map. It is Uganda. I don't know if the chat froze up. Hold on, let me see. Chat filter, go back there. No, doesn't look like it froze up. Okay. So, enough about the dealio. Ooh, what's that? Looks like a military helicopter flying at a lower altitude than they're legally allowed to do, which I've seen the military helicopters do, military transport vehicles do many times. Had a, what do you call it, a group of Blackhawks helicopters flying over my head last year or the year before. And I barely caught them in a video. Just as I got the video started, they were almost over, completely gone. And that's probably one of the reasons they fly so low, is to keep from being caught on camera. But boy, oh boy, when those Chinook helicopters come through, it displaces the air so much, it causes a rumble in the house. like inside my house. They just blah, 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 blah. My whole house rumbles and shakes. And that's when they're still a mile out. That's when I hear a Chinook coming, I get out there with my phone and video record it. Very rarely do they fly right over my backyard where I can actually catch them on video. I will be back dropping. What's up, Heritage? Your bloodline? Whoa, what's your heritage bloodline? I'm a mutt, man. I got a bunch of stuff in me. Yeah, we are all from one man Adam, and then as the gene pool, as people began to spread out and populate the earth, the gene pool got smaller and smaller and smaller. And then that's probably one of the reasons God welcomed the stranger to come into the land of Israel and into the people of Israel to become like naturalized citizens if they wanted to serve the Lord God of Israel. And that's where we have Ruth came, Naomi's daughter-in-law. She was a Babylonian woman, probably pretty hot. I think those stranger women were pretty hot. I think they still are. Women are hot. Women are hot. They are. Women are hot. Go get it. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, thank you. I don't know, Omer. My mom didn't know a whole lot about him, and she really lied a whole bunch about who he was anyway, so I do suspect that he may have had that blood in him, but the people that call themselves Jews right now, they're not the children of Abraham. They are most likely European gypsies, and not, they're swindlers, and they're not dark-skinned. Abraham was of the Middle East. His sons, Isaac and Ishmael, they were both dark because he literally grew up in Haran, the Middle East. Hello. And all of his descendants would have the same genetic line to have that more melanin, being in a climate that's, you get a lot of sun, kind of like a desert, So, yeah, but, a lot of people are fooled. I was fooled for years. I believed that they were the people of God, the people that call themselves Jews. They're not Jews. Jesus talked about that. Even Jesus, the description in the Bible, Jesus had brown skin. He's not that fair-faced, homosexual, long-haired, flowing picture that people see when they hear Jesus. They see that picture. It's like, no, that was a pretty dastardly trick that Satan played on people. Children of Abraham in Saudi Arabia. Yeah. From Turkey. No kidding. Oh, dude. You're from Turkey. Hold on. I'm not a pastor, but Korean Muslim. Hey, man, if you would, send me an email. I actually have some business to take care of in Istanbul. If you would, send me an email. I got some pretty pressing issues that it would really help me to be able to speak with somebody that is from Turkey, somebody that would be able to give me some pointers on a few things I have going on. But yeah, I'm not going to go much further into that. Cool, thanks, man. Or woman, I don't know if you're a man or a woman. Korean, I don't know. Seriously, please come and meet me. I am an architect. No kidding, cool. Yeah, dude, I'll tell you one thing. I was in Istanbul last year, this time. At the end of January is when I went. And man, oh man, the architecture in Istanbul, the history of Istanbul, which used to be Constantinople. It really is. It's kind of dirty. Everything in the cities, and that's even here, Chicago, New York, anywhere you go that's a city, it's just dirty because of all the pollution and all the, exhaust of all of the manufacturing and the advances of industry, but the architecture is gorgeous in some of those the older structures. I'm not a fan of the major living quarters of the cities, but it's really hilly. It's kind of cool. I got a bunch of pictures from there. In fact, if you go on my channel, you'll see that I've got a few shorts videos that I uploaded from Turkey. And I went on a cruise, which is kind of cool. Cool, dude. I appreciate it. It's actually, I need to learn something about the legal system there. That's really kind of one of my main things. I went there for dental work, and I got injured. And I'm not going to go too much more into that, but I got injured and I was done wrong, and now I'm kind of sifting through attorneys. I've been trying to sift through attorneys for months. If you come to Arabia, you will be amazed about, dude, Omer, I know, man. I know. I have seen pictures. I know. I would love it. If we were living in a different time, I would spend a lot of time in the Middle East. I actually want to go to the Ziggurat of Babel just to see it. I see it on the Google Earth. It's pretty cool. It's actually the Tower of Babel, but it's a ziggurat. If you look up Ziggurt, Ziggurat of Babel, it'll take you there, and you will see the foundation of the largest ziggurat ever to be discovered, and they left off building after they got the foundation because God confounded their languages exactly like he said he did. And that's the same place that they found the Mesopotamian text and the Epic of Gilgamesh, because for the first time in history, they had to have a written down language and alphabet, because they no longer had the perfect communication that they had prior to the God confounding their languages. And what's really cool is God says in his words that they were building the tower with brick, and they were getting straw and clay and burning it and making brick. Well, interestingly enough, straw and clay and heat is exactly what they used to write down the Mesopotamian text and the Epic of Gilgamesh. They took straw and they cut it at a 45-degree angle so that they could efficiently carve through the clay their new language as they wrote it out. And they were not idiot. They were not dumb people. We are dumb people compared to the intelligence of the people of the ancient world. Yes, so is Turkey is an Islamic country. No, well, I gotta agree. It is secular. It is secular Islamic. So I would love to be able to go. To me, what a person's religion does not matter. I am going to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with people, because there is hope for mercy and salvation. Even in what I call churchianity, Christianity, it's all bullshit. God preserved every word for every generation. You go to these buildings, any religion that has an organization in a building, they're lying to people. They're literally lying to people. They have to, in order to keep those doors open and keep that money coming in, they have to lie to people. Yeah, the truth is not financially profitable. Very old, yeah, old history. I know the most ancient history in the world is in that region, dude. I mean, right? We've got an eastern Turkey is where Mount Ararat is, or the mountains of Ararat, where the ark rested. And so the entire the population of the entire world came from Noah and his sons in that area. And that's why we have the most ancient buildings and the most ancient cities of the entire world in that region, which is why I would love to go there. It's beautiful, man. It is gorgeous. I've seen pictures. I got to see a little bit in Turkey, but it's not the same. It's not. As you go further south, like I would love to see Damascus before it began to become a ruinous heap, which is actually the prophecies. One of the prophecies in Isaiah, I think it's chapter 17, behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city and it has become a ruinous heap. But, you know, I would have loved to have seen Damascus, the most ancient city in the world, to never be destroyed. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's being destroyed. The Muslim Jesus is not the Jesus Christ of the Bible either. It's a different Jesus. They have, for instance, according to Islam, a prophet, they call Jesus a prophet, and a prophet cannot lie. But then Jesus Christ of the Bible said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. And that would be contradictory to the teachings of Islam. But here's the thing. One of the things I've learned is we only have one English translation of God's Word, and that is the King James Version Bible. And it is historically accurate. I just mentioned one of the hundreds of different evidences, like the Tower of Babel and the Epic of Gilgamesh and Mesopotamian texts and things like that, and the ancient times and the prophecies. I only mentioned a few things, but it is historically accurate. It is scientifically accurate. It is prophetically accurate, and it's literally true. And we've only got one translation. It's a King James Version. But, they were written, the original languages of the text of the scriptures were in Hebrew, in Aramaic, which is also called Chaldean, during the time of the Babylonian captivity, and Greek. And we have the ancient body of texts, manuscripts that have remained unchanged, over 5,000 of them, showing that God did as he said he would do, preserve every word. But so there are a lot of scientific statements in the Bible that have been discovered to be true. There are scientific statements in Islam that are absolutely been proven to be not true. And so it's like, I say Islam, the Quran, the writings of Muhammad. And if he makes a statement that is an absolute statement of scientific validation, and then our observations show that the sun doesn't go down into a swampy pool in the middle at night and then come back up in the morning, things like that. There are literal statements that are absolute statements, which are absolutely not true. But yeah, that's just one of the many things. But like I said, all organized religions will lie to you. Jesus even spoke about that in Matthew 23. He said, those people that love to sit in the seats of authority, and they like to rule and have power over people, and they like to basically be looked up to as the authority. Look to God for your authority. Look to the Lord as the authority, and look to his word. Look to his words. That's what I'll say. That went in a completely different direction than I was planning on talking about. But I'm going to go live again in a little bit after I leave here. I gotta take care of some business up here at one of my errand places. But I'll go live maybe in an hour or 45 minutes or so. But thanks for joining, guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate the conversation. Peace. Oh, it's not letting me hit it. There we go.